My name is Erik Lund. I am MSD's licensing scout in the Nordic regions and the Eastern EU. So, and I'm scientific background, been in both basic science and in licensing in MSD for the last 15, 13 years. And now I'm based in Stockholm and looking for licensing opportunities in the area and R&D collaboration. So I'm going to talk a little bit about MSD's partnering process, how we go about and look for things, and also I'm going to talk about what we see as optimal licensing candidates, early stage, late stage, and technologies. Yep, here's forward-looking statement. So our headquarters are in the USA. We work in pharmaceuticals, of course, but also in vaccines, biologics, consumer healthcare, and animal health. And in our current form, we were formed in 2009, and from the merger of Merck and Schering-Plough. And we go by Merck in the US and Canada, but everywhere else we are called MSD, and that's to distinguish us from the German Merck, which we are no longer connected to since almost 100 years. We spend a lot on R&D, 8 billion in our last year, $8 billion that is, and about 86,000 employees. And most important from this audience, we did 52 licensing in partnership deals in 2011. That's a number that has been relatively constant the last few years. And as far as I know, it's more than anyone else among big pharma. So the importance of licensing to us can also be illustrated by our pipeline. So these are publicly announced pipelines. You see the phase 2 products are to the left and the phase 3 products are to the right. And all of those boxes that are blue are either licensed outright or we have licensed a patent in order to run the program. So it's very important for us, and we envision that it will continue to be so. In order to get in our licensing projects, we have developed a licensing process. If we start from the left, we do have a network of scouts, of which I am one. 4 in Europe. Our job is to look for opportunities and build relations with local companies and to some extent academic institutions, and to know where the opportunities are, and once there is a match, bring it in for further review and hopefully an agreement at the end. So once we find something that seems to be of interest, we'll send it in for a central review. That we have review and licensing committees that meet once a month. There's one for every therapeutic area. We cover all therapeutic areas, but once it goes one step further, it's therapeutic area based. These committees consist of both basic research, clinical research, marketing, competitive intelligence, and leadership for the therapeutic area. And it goes on to confidentiality and face-to-face meetings if there is interest. Only then, if there is confirmed interest from the scientific side, then we proceed to the business, what we call the corporate licensing group, which are the ones who would do terms negotiation and agreement negotiation, and in parallel we also do due diligence like others. And finally, when we have a deal, we don't just let their scientists manage it by themselves. We actually have a dedicated alliance management group, and there will be an alliance manager assigned to the collaboration, and that person will be tasked with making sure that everything is working as it should, meetings are held, protocols are written, everything that goes with the with a collaboration to make it run as smooth as possible so that those that collaborate don't have to deal with this kind of stuff. And when it comes to preclinical collaborations, it's that job falls on us, the licensing scout, to be alliance managers. Otherwise, we have a dedicated alliance management group. So how does this stack up? So in 2011, we looked at 8,600 licensing collaboration opportunities that came in one way or another. Of these, around 1,200 went to the review and licensing committee meetings, and almost 700 confidential agreement, and then, as I said, 52 licensing, or in some cases, acquisitions throughout the year. And to help our potential partners to see what are we looking for, we do have areas of interest brochure. It's available on the web, on pages. One can also download it as a PDF, and you can find it at merck.com/licensing, and it's updated twice a year in January and June in general. So I encourage you to go there and have a look and see if your project might fit with what we are looking for. So I'm going to go into see what are we looking in, typical attributes of licensing candidate that we look for. So if you have a therapeutic candidate and it's early stage, that is preclinical, well, it's significant unmet medical need, that goes without question, that's important. Mechanism, I say this is something that is very important for us, that there is a very defined mechanism that ideally we have some human validation, either genetic or pharmacologic, if exist. A chain of logic from molecular target, we do want to know the molecular target, that is known exactly what it is, and that potential partner understands and has a hypothesis how modulating that target will affect cellular biology and ultimately pharmacology. And if there is a validated animal model, we want to see activity in that or those animal models. And of course, good potency, selectivity, pharmacokinetics, and tolerability, toxicology. And if an oral bioavailability is something we want to see. Also to build a good trust with it's good to see that the licensor is very aware of the competitive environment and knows how their molecule would fit in with other compounds that are in development, and also ideally how they are to understand regulatory and reimbursement environment. Of course, for all of some projects are earlier than others, and it might not have pharmacokinetics, for example, or tox. But I say the most important is the understanding of the mechanism, and know what the molecular target is and how that translates to the pharmacological effect. For a clinical stage therapeutic candidate, we want to see some clinical support that the product can be differentiated from current standard of care and future standard of care at a time when launch is predicted. IP, biomarker we like to see, and especially a target engagement biomarker, if that can be found, so that a negative result in clinical studies, that we can at least know if the molecule did what it was supposed to do at the molecular level. And if appropriate, a companion diagnostic, that's in special cases. We also look for academic collaborations, and here I'm not going to go through all of that, but let me say that we typically like to make them as much like biotech collaborations as much. We define milestones, very clear division of work, deliverables, what is delivered and what time. So it's very clear from the outset, and also what constitutes success and what constitutes failure. Here in academic collaboration, it doesn't have to be a drug development discovery process. It can also be for expanding our knowledge, and in those cases, it could be pre-competitive. In our university academic collaboration, we are very well aware that academia wants to publish. That's what academia is for, and we find structure how that can be done. Platform technology, it can be summarized very quickly: faster, better, cheaper. Yep, that things that help us in the drug discovery development process. We are a user of new technology. We are not a developer of new technology. So when it comes to technologies, we like those that can be directly applicable, more or less. But we don't typically engage in taking them from an idea to a stage where they can be used. And it says some technologies can be pre-competitive. I say most of them. For us, we don't need to be exclusive on the technologies. We want to use them. So let me round off. We strongly believe in collaboration, and that it can create value for both us and for the partner. And I encourage you, if you have anything you want to discuss, contact me, email there, or merck.com/licensing, where you can also find my contact information. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Erik Lund. I wonder, is there anything you miss when it comes to project? People addressing you? Is there any area you should mention if you have any?
One thing I want to stress again is the mechanism of action. Take time to develop the thoughts about mechanism of action and how that translates to clinical effect, because that's very important to us. That is solid understanding of that.
Very good. Any more questions from the audience? I wonder, when you hear your competitors in the same area, what difference is it between you and the others, do you think?
Well, I'm so busy with one-on-one meetings, I never have time to listen to my competitors. But honestly, I think it's very similar. But of course, we have different therapeutic areas, specializations, and strengths. And
good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's a present.